and start talking about our next match of the day. It is ETC versus Muzzy. And, speaking of relegation, ETC saw Stripe Girl lose early today. There's an opportunity here.
And when opportunity knocks, you got to open the door. And it looks like he is off to a pretty solid start here. He finds himself the Druid matchup against the Warrior, and he finds himself Crystal Merchant Nourish as well.
Yep, and now, ETC has to be familiar with this because he did it yesterday, except he was the Warrior. He comboed. Oh, he's playing Question.
Yeah, there were so many things
Darn!
wrong with that line of thinking.
You said that it was so convincingly favored that I assumed it was Malindo's Druid.
Sure.
I think there is game, especially with the... Muzzy did it too! He's got double Plague Wrath and no Whirlwind.
Ooh.
Behold, jewels of
We're gonna have some words with the Muzz.
Ooh.
Well, if he wins, we have a question numero uno.
Yeah, we do. And then Muzzy's going to give a really smart and convincing answer, and then Gallen's just going to be like, see, told you so, it's fine.
Except we grilled Gallen about it for hours, and he never gave us a single good
Didn't
answer.
justify it one time. No.
Yeah. See, Crystal Merchant's basically a Nourish.
Yeah, fair enough. Can't argue with the results.
Yeah. Was he dangerously close to playing into mind control tech?
Ooh.
So, taking a look at the way that ETC has constructed his deck, he's got a copy of Bees. I'm done. That's all I want to point out.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, excellently broken down.
Yeah. Also, one swipe, one Ferocious Howl. He's got the mind control tech thrown in there. One Power of the Wild, and one Worthy Expedition. The interesting thing to notice, the Pounce, so it looks like he's built his Druid deck to have some game against Priest. With the Bees and the Pounce, you have more ways to kill minions earlier on in the game.
Yes, it also kills Evil Totem, does Pounce, which is very key. I think that matchup, we talked about it, how people are really coming around a little bit, think it's slightly more Shaman favored, but one of the situations where you do absolutely lose with Druid, and we've seen it multiple times in Grandmasters, is when Evil Totem just sticks to the board and you can't deal with it. Also, if there's ever a curveball zoo, then yeah, you want that Pounce in the deck as well.
This is the first time I've ever seen Mind Control Tech be active against Warrior before turn 20.
TJ is just arms in the air, losing his mind right now. On curve Mind Control Tech landing against Warrior, and a 50-50 good outcome as well.
What?
That is the angriest I think I've ever heard you while casting Hearthstone. I've heard you exclaim many a time, TJ, but never in anger.
I'm flabbergasted.
No tomb can hold me.
If he doesn't play it this turn, something's wrong.
Easiest Starfall of my life.
He probably wouldn't have even needed. I'm stumped there. I can't even speak. Wouldn't have even needed to use it.
No tomb can hold me.
I refuse to be results oriented right now.
Then don't be. It's generally a bad thing to do. I commend you for not being results-oriented.
But I do it all the time.
Oh. Well, do it less.
It's part of my thing.
Oh.
All right, I'll move past it.
Okay.
At least now he has a mind control tech in hand. Can play a 3/3 alongside of other things.
He's going to nourish this turn. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
What now?
From ETC's perspective, because of what's been happening to him in the past few weeks, as far as outcomes are concerned, he's stealing a 1-2 every time. He's stealing a town crier.
Has he been low rolling the last few weeks?
I mean, he got Shutterwalk pulled out of a Hecklebot
Sure,
yesterday.
yeah, okay, fair enough.
It's been combined with some like missed opportunities as well.
Okay.
But it seems like they compound on each other. Like bad outcomes, slight misplay, bad outcome, slight misplay.
Right.
3 and 8.
Like Russian dolls of unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah. It was on curve.
All right, TJ. It's in the
I'm
past.
Done. I'm done.
Okay.
Let's take a look at ETC's turns here. Power of the Wild just gets eaten up. He can Worthy Expedition. He's got 9 cards in hand.
Yeah, he's just kind of chilling.
Yeah, I wonder what the thought here is. Maybe before he plays Worthy Expedition, thinking about what he wants. But I think that's also a decision you can just make once you see the 3 options. Innervate Ferocious Howl. Not sure if he's looking for something specific for next turn, or if he thinks that Innervate's just not going to get much use for the rest of the game and wants to get the mana out of the way.
Yeah.
Because you float mana out there either way.
Right, exactly.
Unless you get Crystal Power.
Yes. Well, specifically what he did was the play not to float mana, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have gotten like Worthy Expedition Wrath and Innervate Wrath, which
Sure.
at the end of the day serves the same purpose, but now his Worthy Expedition gets to have a little bit more power or potential power.
Three pretty medium options on the Worthy Expedition. Assume you take care of the 1/3 here if that's your play. Yep, this makes sense. Would leave you vulnerable to the Whirlwind that's not in Muzzy's deck.
If he uses a Warpath here, then that's just funny.
Yeah. What is this hand from Muzzy, by the way?
Yeah, I
Warpath,
know.
Warpath, Brawl, Plague of Wrath, Weapons Project, Weapons Project. 0 minions.
Yeah, no value from the Armadillo. Is he going to do it?
Is it happening, TJ?
Yeah, it's going to happen. And then all of a sudden he has no activator for his second player Brad.
That's bad.
Might as well get value out of him while you can.
It's actually strictly correct to do that because, I mean, this is so tiresome. Yeah, but like in like a real world, like a thing that happens, like you play Dr. Boom, you discovery drone a weaponized pinata, and you hit like Shivala or something, for example.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just correct to do that.
Or your opponent picks overflow from something, puts one in their deck, and then they Fior's it, and somehow you get a Seance.
Yeah, sure, right, yeah. Right, this conversation is very tiresome,
Yeah.
but it's correct.
Yes. Granted, by the time you're in territory where, wow, weaponized pinata is great from this delivery drone, it's usually late enough in the game where you've played that much mana and spells. But yes, technically correct. Also, Muzzy did play in the PvP Live where he was judged week by week by his ability to be efficient with his mana,
Yes.
as well as his blowback.
Did ETC as well? That might explain the Innovate Ferocious Howl.
No.
No.
You don't often get a 10-10 that gets to stick on the board and attack.
You don't, no. And that was going to be my question, is what exactly does Muzzy's last 2 turns tell ETC about his hand? Because Dr. Boom into 13 pressure is not an ideal turn. Warpath for 1 to clear that board on the previous turn was not an ideal turn. So like, can ETC start to put together any hand reads? I guess there's no... I mean, there's no Dynamatic in the deck.
Well, he also saw that the Armadillo did not activate.
Correct.
If he was paying attention and saw that there was no laser beam.
Right.
So he could also, you know, kind of use that for some reads also. Starts off with Delivery Drone. Starting to feel the nerfs a little bit. Omega Devastator would have been pretty good here.
Yep.
Now that second Warpath gone for this Plague of Wrath.
Which means Muzzy is going to most likely have to have a Kaboom Hero Power line up into his second Plague of Wrath, or potentially hold on to that Snip Snap as well to be his Plague of Wrath activator. That can at least bump into 3 things, but you know, you look at boards that Druids make, like quite often they have a Nunubsat Defender on them, or they have a Hidden Oasis Taunt on them, or they have a Cenarius on them. All of those things prevent you just running Snip Snap tokens into all of the minions individually and then killing them off.
Potential here for a Elise turn. He'd go Oasis Urger Elise. He would give up the top card in his deck, but the copies would be very good.
Yes.
The Floop would still be an Oasis Urger, because Elise copies the hand as is.
Yes.
The battle cry happens before Elise is registered as the played minion. But then the second, original Floop would then turn into Elise. Can still do the same thing in the following turn, actually. Get 2 Cenarius and another card in his deck and have the ability to play something additional.
Okay, then.
To open up hand space. I think for the first few weeks, a lot of players tunneled on, I need to save Floop for Phaeorus.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Or like got super greedy and were going like hyper late game and then trying to like loop the Elise Floop in the late game to like duplicate a ton of stuff. Like, yeah, you don't need that much stuff. You need a lot of stuff to beat Warrior. There is a limit.
Yep.
Oh, I love that cute.
Elise kind of still has to be in the conversation here.
It does. Whether ETC wants to get rid of this Wrath or not, replace it with another card that's more high value to copy before he goes Elise. I think as long as he can keep playing things for pressure, there's no real need to Elise on any given turn.
Yeah.
He can just keep waiting. He still has his Zephrys to draw, which is a prime candidate for that copy.
Next turn, he can go Elise and the Flooped Cenarius.
Yep.
This would be a good time for a master plan.
I like that.
Obviously, it depends on the pickup. From,
It does, yeah.
From the top, because there's still some big stuff.
Yeah, Dreamworld, he does draw that Zephrys, because I think it's very important that he copies the Zephrys for one reason alone, and that's so we can start talking about 2-card Zephrys combos again.
I like where your head is at right now. Weapons Project Harrison Jones, you're going to take a significant amount of damage. Tekabot Brawl seems to be the play.
Ooh, Muzzy gives the nod.
Honestly, I don't know if that's as huge of a deal, since, like, let's say he picks up Phaeorus off the top. Like, right now, it's super dead.
All right, go time.
Yep, Elise. See, pulling Fierce out of the deck got him 1 card closer to Zephrys.
Elise first, you copy a version of the Floop that still remains as Cenarius, and then this existing Floop turns into the Elise. So you can then follow up this Elise with this Cenarius.
Who dares defy this ancient land?
All right, what double Zephrys lethals have we got next turn?
Savage Roar and Bloodlust.
Oh, solved it.
Can we put him to 10 and get 2 Pyroblasts?
Ooh, lovely.
Can he play a 6 health minion so we get the double Fireball out?
It's kind of important. It's something I've just put a needless amount of time into, is like how often you can force... Like, in what situations will Zephrys offer you a burn spell that your actual intention is to use for a 2-card Zephrys lethal, but Zephrys is just reacting to the board?
I've watched enough cartoons to know that you never try and trick a genie.
Wait, you mean I can't wish for more wishes?
Nope.
They never tell you can't wish for more genies, though. That's how you get them.
Well, you can. Look, he's got 2.
Exactly.
This would be a good time for a master plan.
I honestly think it doesn't matter because Muzzy's just going to die. It's necessary, but it's hideous.
So Muzzy is at 34. That is 3, 7, 13, 20, 22 plus 10, 32 just from the one Zephrys, I believe. Oh no, Bloodlust. Bloodlust is more. Yeah, this is lethal, right?
Well, there's 2 Zephrys. So it has to be lethal.
I feel like I'm leaving at the right time.
If he does this, he can't play. If he does this, he has to spend 2 mana to then Wrath his new Cenarius.
22. Yeah, just Zephrys Bloodlust is lethal. I don't know what he's messing around with. Right? 10, 13, 20, 22, plus 12. Am I crazy?
You wish twice for no one.
No.
I'm not crazy. Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
We got that.
And then he had the second one.
Yeah. Second one for the Soulfire as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
But that's exactly for ETC. He takes game 1, finds a favorable matchup. Not bad. And ETC yet to have that big week. And if he went 2-0 this week, it'd be a huge success for him after a not-so-glorious season thus far.
And I promise you, he was having nightmares. Like, game number 1 of one of his most crucial weeks, he gets his Shudderwock yeeted out of his deck by a Hegglebot.
Yoink.
Game number 2, he just gets his King Feoris yeeted out of his deck by the Hegglebot. What? Come on!
It's never going to get old.
I'm trying to get through this.
All right.
Yeah, he would have been having nightmares in that scenario. And you saw his reaction as well. It was just kind of like, oh, not again. Like, what do I have to do? But I think, keeping a cool head again, I was talking about it with Race in that scenario. He had to recognize he was still in a very commanding position because most of Muzzy's plays, not the thought process or the quality of the play on Muzzy's part, but the plays just sucked. Like, he had nothing to do, you know? Like, so ETC with kept a calm head just about found that lethal at the end as he was trying to mess around with some scenarios.
He probably still wins that game, to be honest.
Yeah, he can probably do whatever he wants and still win that game from that position.
Yeah, but I too have nightmares about things being yeeted from my life. So we're in the same boat, ETC. Don't
Excellent.
worry. But game 1's in the books. ETC 1-0 lead over Muzzy. Can he close it out for a 2-0 week? Find out right after this.
Well met, friend.
Ooh. Let's get this over with.
I win!
Oh, what an amazing game! Oh, well played!
Here's to the winner.
We've created a new home for all things Hearthstone Esports for both desktop and mobile users. From the homepage, you can find the latest articles, scores, and VODs. And from the navigation bar, you can find so much more. Here's how it works. Under the Grandmasters tab, you can view competitor profiles. Here you can see a player's top classes, recent decks, and watch their most recent series. You can also access the standings from this tab to help you understand where each player is in terms of playoff contention or relegation. On the schedule page, you can check the dates and times for every part of the Hearthstone Masters program. This includes the full calendar of Masters qualifiers, Masters Tour event pages, and the weekly schedule for Hearthstone Grandmasters. Looking to try your hand at the decks the pros are using? Simply click the eye on a Grandmasters match to see submitted deck lists. From here, hit the purple Copy Deck Code button and open Hearthstone to your collection. Then, create a new deck and simply answer the Create from Clipboard prompt in the affirmative. Finally, the News tab will show you Hearthstone Esports news exclusively. Dive into interviews with your favorite players and check back every so often to see what you've missed. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the tavern.
Welcome back, everybody, to America's Grandmasters. I'm TJ, joined by Sottle, and just got word during the break that we have a doozy of a matchup coming up with ETC versus Muzzy, game number 2, and it is going to be a Warrior Mirror, Sottle.
It is. We've dodged them up until this point, at least in my brief stint in Americas, but we do have to deal with one now, and it's slightly different lists on either side. It's that double heckle bot that we've seen used to supposed great effectiveness in that previous game for Muzzy, even though it ended up not mattering, whereas ETC has the Spell Ward Jeweler Azalina Soul Thief combo that he definitely used to great effect in his previous series. So we'll see how those two things line up against each other. Azalina is going to be a very weird card in the mirror, I imagine, especially when it's in a deck that already has Archivist Elysiana, because that's a very different dynamic than what we used to see, where people would play Azalina instead of Archivist Elysiana.
In Bomb Warrior.
Yeah, and then we would talk about like kind of the timing of like trying to get that card from your opponent. But here it's like potentially a very, very awkward card for ETC to be drawing. because most of the time, the Warrior Mirror, both players have like too many resources in their hand, and they're trying to wait for their resources to like react to their opponent's resources. No one necessarily wants to be too proactive in the matchup once you get to the late game. The early game is very often an attempt to be proactive, but in the late game less so. So getting cards out of your hand to then want to Azalina seems weird. It's probably just like a hyper late game card in this matchup, I would imagine. Like literally the last thing you do where possible. But then your opponent can play around that by also... I don't know. We've got like 45 minutes to work this out. We'll get there eventually.
You lost me.
Okay, all right.
Well, there's always the chance that Muzzy just yeets Azalina and Archivist Elysiana out of the deck with both of his Hecklebots. That would make our lives and their lives a little bit easier.
Yes.
Time to play an Augmented Elic onto the board. This feels familiar.
Chat, can you find some emote that rhymes with Hecklebot and spam it to help Hecklebot, please?
He's got both.
Just do me a solid right now. There's got to be some emote that rhymes with bot. Spam that.
Spam this robot to help out Hecklebot?
Yeah, Mr. Destructoid. Excellent. Perfect.
There's got to be a more creative one, but I'll leave that up to the experts. There's the big question, though, of, you know, how does Muzzy want to use the Hecklebots?
Yeah.
I'm trying to find downsides to just using it on curve. Can you think of any?
Not any that I'm confident enough in the maths to actually roll out as real analysis, because you can get yourself into a lot of traps about, you know, on average each card draw is not an Archivist Elysiana or an Azalina, but then it's nonsense to just say, well, the longer you wait, the more likely you are. So that's like, it's I think just going to be a feel thing from Muzzy, just a response to like what he feels. What hand reads he can develop in terms of which minions his opponent has in hand, and thereby by process of elimination what's in deck. Chat, you didn't spam hard enough. There's another. The Elysiana found its way into the hand. I'm disappointed in you all.
Which means that 0 advantage currently in the game.
That
Yes.
belongs in a museum.
Harrison Jones is being played out. That should give you an indication of how this game is being planned from both sides, where it's going to be long and you don't want to draw cards. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's rare to have any criticisms of Hunter Ace, but I remember watching a Warrior Mirror of his yesterday where he played a shield block early, which was kind of question marks already, but I think that one was arguable. But then he used a Harrison Jones and like filled up his hand, which really confused me because it put him in that position where he just had a full hand the whole game, so he had to be playing cards. He was playing cards for low value and allowing his opponent to kind of use their reactive cards, leverage them against him, which is not really the spot you want to be in from my perception in the Warrior Mirror. But he's Hunter Ace, I'm not, so what do I know?
It's probably just some next level
Yeah.
What now?
galaxy brain read on the situation. He had already calculated fatigue at that point and knew that he could draw a few cards.
He'd seen 14 million outcomes, and that was the one in which you Harrison Jones the weapon.
He is the world champion after all. Yeah. ATC going to use this opportunity for some pressure, some tempo here. Gets the double snip snap out of the way. The thing I always look for with the increase in cost of Dr. Boom Mad Genius is just trying to look for those turns where you can get it down safely. And safely in this matchup is you've expended as little resources to have as little power on board as possible.
Yeah, that sounds right. Shield Slam, very, very important resource to have in certain key stages of the matchup. Being able to, for example, Archivist Elysiana and Shield Slam in the same turn when you get down to fatigue is massive because it allows you to, for example, respond to your opponent's Archivist Elysiana. It's done the same thing. Chat, this is just not good enough, all right? I asked for one thing from you guys.
He drew it in the top half. He didn't even have to dodge the Heckle bots. Actually, no, it's not chat's fault because he didn't even play the Heckle bots.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If there'd been more spam, then Muzzy would have felt that urge through the cosmos to play the Heckle bot.
That makes sense.
No tomb can hold me.
It's a big Hecklebot, though.
It is. And he's got another one where that came from.
I'm so glad.
The ETC is suiting up. He has drawn all of the good cards. Elysiana very, very early. Azalina, I would theorize, is very early as well because I would imagine it is a long, long way away from being used. But having secured those cards against Hecklebot is crucial in and of itself, and of course having access to Boom on Curve is just enormous in the matchup. So now Muzzy has a real decision point in the matchup, which is to say, do I continue to just try and fight against the storm here, just throw more minions onto the board and try and get pressure, which just plays into my opponent's Dr. Boom, and he's going to grind me out of resources if it fails, or do I like hunker down, settle in, wait for my own Dr. Boom, and play as slowly as possible? I think the Ziliax gives you a pretty clear indication on which kind of plan he's on right now.
Yep. Eternium Rover, I don't think I would like as much in this situation if it wasn't for the microbots on the other side, just because the microbots give ETC a good brawl anyway.
Sure.
There's also something we didn't talk about is drawing the Archivist Elysiana and Azalina Soul Thief as a pair may not be the best thing.
Yes.
Because now ETC's flexibility with Azalina is incredibly limited.
That is very true, yeah.
It will only be used in the very, very late stages of the game. There is an opportunity, like early on, to expend all your resources and play Azalina Soul Thief after you've used your good cards and replace your bad cards with the good cards your opponent's holding.
That's fair.
But now that's not an option because he can't afford to give up his Elysiana unless he knows for a fact that his opponent also has it, which would incentivize you to play Elysiana before you do that anyway. Alarmobot!
I wonder.
I was just talking to Gallon, who is still here after casting.
He's got to play next.
I know. It was he was prepping for his matchup, just jamming some games of Hearthstone, and for the first time in his entire Hearthstone career, had just had an Alarmobot activate and was incredibly excited about it. Never had one gone off before.
I love these Gallon anecdotes.
Yeah.
We should just have him here, even when he's not casting.
Yeah.
Just so during breaks we can go back and cheer ourselves up
Yep.
a little bit.
It's just what I do in the breaks. I just pop in and have a quick Gallon update.
Okay, then.
Like if that Elysiana was something bad like a Warpath, I may just think about Azalinaing.
Right. Yeah, so this is kind of what I missed when I was sort of breaking it down at the start, where you got lost, whereas I was imagining this scenario, right, where you have to go all the way through your deck, you have to play your Elysiana, then you have to play all the cards in your hand, then you play the Azalina, which is why I was saying, like, it's going to be a hyper late game card, but I didn't consider the situation where you just don't draw Elysiana until late and you have the Azalina in your hand, and then perhaps you can try and use it a lot more aggressively.
Speak to me.
I think all things considered, ETC would just rather draw both of them so they don't get Hecklebotted, though. I think that's probably like the most secure plan for him in the hyper long game that it's most likely to be against Warrior.
Yep. And you can see ETC, now that he has both of those cards, he is okay with drawing an extra card off of the Accolade of Pain because he knows that in that hyper late game, as long as he doesn't fall behind in tempo, he has the card advantage.
Right.
This gives him some information as well. Elysiana pulled from the Boom Reaver means he knows that Elysiana is...
Light the fuses!
Nope.
That's a mech, my friend. All right, just let that one sit for a second. There we go. All right, perfect.
Face me, you tempting tyrant.
And now, I was about to make the point as well that I'm always, I outlined the branching paths where Muzzy saw the Dr. Boom, didn't have his own Dr. Boom, and like, right, you have to make a decision here. You either go aggressive, and if your opponent has the goods that answers your aggression, you're just going to be out of stuff, and they're going to have a handful of stuff, because you've been trying to fight uphill against Dr. Boom the whole time. The other option is just to sit back, try and take it slow, just hope that they don't have too much pressure, because Control Warrior isn't a very pressure-heavy deck, and that you can survive till your Dr. Boom. And I was about to say that having run into the Plague of Wrath and the Brawl, that ETC was, that Muzzy was going to have this aggression kind of get checked by ETC. But now that the Boom Reaver lived through the Brawl, and now the ETC just threw away a Dinomatic into it, hoping that it would kill it, that might not be the case.
Did miss a Blast Shield because of it. Does have Spellbreaker.
It's the difference between being at 40 with a Dinomatic in his hand and at 33 with a 3/4 on the board that is not doing anything right now.
Well, it is doing something. It's allowing him to get through the Hecklebot.
Sure.
He can Spellbreaker, Kaboom, Restless Mummy, and that stuff trades into the Hecklebot. He still has to worry about a 7/9.
Yeah.
But at least he has something on the board.
That's fair.
Your magic shall not save you.
Problem is, his hand is pretty poor.
No tomb can hold me. No tomb can hold me.
All right, Dinomatic, you did it.
Oh, I love
You got there.
Yep.
And now Muzzy's hand has stalled out.
Yes, it has.
And that's where Dr. Boom Mad Genius starts to kick in.
So how committed is Muzzy to this pressure line now? Not very.
Do you Azalina right or Elysiana right now?
As ETC, right this turn?
Yeah.
What is your reasoning for wanting to do so?
Tempo.
7/7 in play.
Because it either forces Muzzy to play his Elysiana so that he can copy it with Azalina.
Sure.
Or it forces him to kind of play this game each turn where he's like, all right, I concede.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because Muzzy would get the read, right? Where he's like, oh, why did my opponent Elysiana so early? Oh, maybe they have Azalina in their hand and they know they have to Elysiana before they can play the Azalina. So, oh crap, maybe I need to play my Elysiana right now as well so it doesn't get copied. And in that world, the fatigue count doesn't line up anyway. And since Muzzy doesn't have Dr. Boom in his hand, he essentially just can't Elysiana right now. Like, Elysiana is just kind of conceding at this point. Kind of interesting. I like it. You raise a very interesting world, TJ.
Instead, he played an Acolyte of Pain. Yes, he did gain 7 armor. Cool. But a 7/7 seemed very appealing, and for the reasons that I was implying that you had mentioned of, it puts Muzzy in a very awkward position.
Yes. Muzzy responds by instead trying to put ETC in a very awkward position, which is pushing him 4 cards ahead in the fatigue race. And also filling up his hand, which is very awkward when you play the card Azalina Soul Thief in your deck. You can see Muzzy completely conceding the pressure plan now. no interest in it anymore. Draw your opponent a bunch of cards. You know you're going to draw them an answer to the board that you made. There's the Dr. Boom.
Opportunity gone.
Muzzy has got through the difficult period very, very skillfully. I think he hit the perfect balance of just pressuring where it was available. Then just for the last 2 or 3 turns, you saw him just sit back and go, okay, pressure isn't going to work. Let me just hunker down and try and figure out how to play a long fatigue game here. And honestly, the Acolyte opportunity was just handed to him on a plate with that Warpath.
Yeah. You know, I don't want to harp on it too much. This will be the last time I talk about it, but you could most likely have a pretty good read at that point that Dr. Boom Mad Genius is not in the hand. You've presented some turns where it's difficult, but Muzzy had a turn where he had, you know, the massive Hecklebot and the massive Boom Reaver on board. I guess he didn't have. He had the massive Boom Reaver on board. He had board control. He could have played Mad Genius.
He had a turn where he played Shield Block Pass.
Yes. So
like that was a 100% Dr. Boom turn if he had it.
If you play Elysiana, it puts him in that situation where you're fine. Because all you have to do is make the read of when to play Azalina, which at that point, you're probably pretty confident that you can just copy right then and there.
Yeah.
And if Muzzy has it in his hand and plays it, he doesn't have Dr. Boom Mad Genius for the rest of the game. You both have 10 cards left in your deck because you both just played Azalina.
Right.
So fatigue is even, and you have the value train, and you have every resource that they have because you just Azalina. Or because you will just Azalina. Now it comes out anyway. And instead, he did nothing for those 3 turns. You see what I'm saying.
I do. Ooh, C4 Bomber.
Moshog Announcer. Very interesting card.
Ugh.
Ravenholt Assassin, I do like as well.
Batterhead.
All right.
These days, that is a very high-quality Elysiana.
So, Jungle Moonkin, mediocre. Sephorian Bomber, fantastic.
Yep.
Black Knight,
wait and see.
yes.
Potential.
Potential. Ravenholt Assassin, I really like, because most of the time it's just guaranteed 7 damage. And Batterhead, very good.
Yes.
What?
Ah! I was writing down the other ETC's Elysiana deck, looked up, and I see that monstrosity on my screen.
No!
That is not okay.
Not fair.
Call the police. That's illegal.
Zephrys, Vulpera Scoundrel, History Buff, Alexstrasza, Baron Stablehand. I don't care about the other ones. Vulpera Scoundrel, okay, that one's kind of cool. But Zephrys. He wished for more genies.
He did wish for more genies. I'm telling you, it's the tech. No one ever thinks about wishing for more genies.
ETC could have Zephrys too.
He could, yes.
The problem with his is that... no, I guess there's problems with both. Just because, you know, by nature of Elysiana, there's duplicates in your deck.
ETC cost himself a C4 Bomber to get that collection of Hearthstone cards.
So this play means he wants removal.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Because he almost knows exactly what his hand is when he makes that, right? It's the cards that are on ETC's deck tracker that Muzzy has played. Sorry, minus those cards from Muzzy's original deck.
So Zephrys, you do need to draw the 4 duplicates or whatever before Zephrys becomes active.
Yep.
But this game will go that distance.
Well, does Muzzy have any interest in drawing cards so that he can get Zephrys down quickly and try and end the game?
I don't think so. I don't think it's necessary.
Okay.
Like, he can assume at this point that he has a better Elysiana. He has Alexstrasza, Zephrys, Vulpera Scoundrel.
Yes.
He can just leave the game state as is, and then with Vulpera Scoundrel and Zephrys specifically, can craft a game plan around whatever ETC does.
Yeah, that's fair.
And this Alarm Bot is cool because he doesn't want to play Harrison Jones because he doesn't want to draw cards. He knows that he just copied a weapons project, so it's almost never going to be able to be played from hand.
Yep.
So if this Alarm Bot dies, cool. You know, it wasn't doing anything anyway.
Right.
But it has the upside of getting a Harrison Jones, which is buffed by the history buff. So double upside for
Yes.
Alarm Bot.
Double downside for the Harrison Jones though, because as mentioned, he just doesn't want to play that this game.
Actually,
So the buffs landing on there is kind of frustrating.
yeah.
So he needs to draw 1 Vulpera Scoundrel, 1 Alexstrasza, 1 whatever the other card. Stable Hand something? What did you say?
Baron Stablehand.
Baron Stable Hand.
Baron Stablehand in itself is a very interesting card because Beast is one of the most common tags in Hearthstone, maybe the most common tag in Hearthstone. So there's a very wide range of things.
Well, looks like we're committing to these Harrison Jones not coming down. Again, it's the weird dynamic created by Azalina that Muzzy knows. As awkward as this position is for him, it is also equally awkward for ETC, who also has a Harrison Jones in his hand that he can't play right now.
So he plays the Alarm Bot too.
I mean, yeah. Maybe not into the zap here.
Maybe not
A
into the
good time
zap.
for a
Yeah.
master plan.
I'm not seeing a way that ETC can win with his quality of Elysiana. But a lot of game to play. There's still delivery drones to be used and weaponized pinatas to be killed off.
Yes. Awkward.
Just kill it and pass.
But I would like to Alexstrasza my opponent this turn.
You're going to get that opportunity.
Okay.
You know that the entire left side of his hand
This
can't
would
be
be a
played,
good time
just
for
as
a
the entire
master
left side of
plan.
your hand can't be played.
Excellent point.
I bring life.
All right.
So put him to 15, right? That's what you were saying? Yeah.
That belongs in a museum.
Nice. A free 5/4. Ravenholt Assassin just seems so meek in comparison.
I mean, what idiotic boobs we were 3 or 4 minutes ago. We were like, wow, Ravenhold Assassin. Yeah, that seems pretty solid. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Black Knight could have potential.
Ooh, you love to see your opponent taking 8 there.
Well, if you get Tyrion from Zephrys,
Yes.
Black Knight.
Oh, Black Knight Weapons Project. Hard countered.
Yep, and ETC just made the hard read that Zephrys was chosen from Elysiana.
Gonna win big.
Wow,
Shield Slam?
probably.
So he now only has the stable hand as a duplicate in his deck.
Yep.
We might be about to see some fireworks. We might be about to see a very upset-looking ETC when this first Zephrys comes down.
I mean, from ETC's perspective, he was like, sweet. I just got full Batterhead value.
Yep.
I mean, even if that Zephrys was, you know, something else, I think Muzzy might just still be able to win this. There's the 1 bomb in the deck, so he's only like 1 card ahead in kind of that fatigue battle since he played his Elysiana a turn later. But
Oh, ETC Azalina'd over his second Sephorian bomber as well, or else he could have hard countered the 2 Zephrys by shuffling 2 bombs into his opponent's deck.
for a turn or 2. Yes. That is... Wait, did he get another...
Yep.
All right. And ETC now down to 14.
Yeah, he's just taking a beat down, honestly.
There it is. Oh no, is he gonna take the Heckle bot?
He might take the heck. It seems correct.
No, because he saw the Alexstrasza.
That's fair. Okay.
Yep.
But he also knows that he's losing fatigue, right? And the Hecklebot can kind of square things up. And I hope that that is not a metaphor for ETC's Grandmasters career. I hope the lights are not going down.
I think that just means I know this time very well. It's bedtime for the kids.
Ah, of course. Not used to playing this late into the evening.
Yeah.
We are a long way behind schedule today.
Oh, I love that view.
Or if I want
This would be
to
a good
rewind
time
10
for a
years,
man
it's
to
Ma!
play.
Lights!
I hear you got a problem.
Well, that seems counterintuitive. Oh. What did I mention about delivery drone being a buff?
All right, TJ. You're so smart.
Yeah, back to my results-oriented thinking.
Yep.
So Boom Reaver can, both Ravenholt Assassins have been drawn. You can pull Jungle Moonkin.
Dark Mire Moonkin.
Oh, Darkmire Moonkin. Yeah, you're right. Jungle Moonkin was the fun one.
The Druid thing, yeah.
Yeah. Is auto correcting me on a card?
I know,
game?
I know. I was very happy with that.
Wow.
Ruin, despair, destruction.
Now the jig's up.
Yep. Muzzy, note to self. Don't pick Tyrians. You can still pick Tyrians.
Oh, there it
okay.
is.
So you can still pick Tyrians, just don't be picking any, like, Earth Elementals. That seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, I'm liking BGH right now.
All right, yeah, I like that.
Or more just Snip Snap, Plague of Wrath, and
This
Blast
would be
Shield.
a good time for a
That
master
seems better,
plan.
actually.
Also seems fine, yeah.
Or Baron Stablehand and get King Crush and kill him.
Oh, you're right, you found lethal. But does Muzzy see it?
Zephrys
This would be a good time for a master plan.
You do it. You just do it now. Oh, no, you know there's a weapons project.
You know there's a weapons project, yeah.
Yeah.
And it is a face-up play to the opponent, right? You just played a Zephrys. ETC will go, what did that Zephrys give you? He'll look at his health and go, oh, yikes. Weapons project time.
Yeah. I think ETC really hoping for Blast Shield or Delivery Drone. Gets Blast Shield, okay.
Shield picked up.
Is it time?
Want a deadly-
Is it time to tell ETC the bad news?
Want a deadly shot again?
Yeah, I like the deadly shot.
I'll be your field guide.
Night
I'm
Prowler.
almost out of cards.
Batterhead can come down and kill the 3/3 with a Blast Shield. And you're probably in the world of trading over
This would be a good time for a master
maybe history
plan.
buff.
Yeah, I mean, how are we piecing together a plan to win the game in Camp ETC right now? You have this hand, you know your opponent has a Plague of Wrath and a Brawl. I don't hate this. I think when you were starting to have those thoughts that I was just having, push 7, win a Brawl is pretty high up there in terms of how you're going to find a way out of winning that game.
Yeah, and worst outcome for ETC with the 4/4 surviving.
I'm almost out of cards.
All right, that one's got to be a King Crush, right?
It's a lot of beasts. A lot of weird random ones, too.
Wait. I just realized. You are never supposed to pick that card off Archivist Elysiana. Octosari is a beast.
Octosari!
You literally just roll the dice to lose the game immediately by picking that card off Elysiana.
All right. Now, if Muzzy wins, we have some ammo.
Your wish is my suggestion.
Well spotted, sir.
And wait for it. There it is. Oh ho ho! Doesn't even give it the time of day.
I mean, Muzzy could have just played the first one as soon as he drew it, and ETC probably concedes. But with two of them, ETC knows that, yeah, there's no chance with the resources that he has available. So, unfortunately, a foregone conclusion. But you are correct. That Baron Stable hand could have been game-ending for Muzzy.
Yep. That's kind of terrifying when you really stop and think about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Like, I only realized it. Like, I was watching Zalay's stream. So he plays Zalay Hunter, which is Highlander Mech Hunter bursty damage thing, which plays an Octosari in it. And one turn there's just an Octosari on the board, and his kill command was active. And we all learned together that Octosari was a beast. Because how often does that come up, right? Like, without that, I wouldn't have that piece of information myself, because how often is that relevant?
Thank you, Zalay.
Yeah.
I was going to go to your camera. Thank you, Zalay.
Yeah.
You're the real hero here, showing us interactions that we'd never know otherwise. But that ties up the series in quite a marathon of a game. And for ETC, that's all right, shake it off. Like, long game, very difficult. You kind of think your favorite going in because of the Azalina being the X factor.
Yes.
And then you lose to a weird circumstance that you don't often expect.
Right.
And, you know, the Elysiana mirrors now in Warrior Mirrors are even more volatile than they were because of the discrepancy in neutral cards as opposed to class cards. When the class cards were higher weighted, you know, you had some discrepancy because some players could discover Omega Assembly, but it was more normalized.
Yes. It was, you know, and Elysiana was higher quality on average because you were just picking warrior cards, but it was relatively fairly similar on both sides. Whereas now, like, because it's the neutral pool, like, you can just find Elysiana off your Elysiana, like, game over, you know?
All right, well, Priest versus Druid. So ETC at the end of it all does end up getting a pretty good matchup. Now, Malagos Druid, there's a little bit more interesting things to talk about. I feel like they do have more game early on to try and contest. They still have all the same tools, but you know, sometimes the Pounce, which is not always included in normal Quest Druid, or the Moonfires, or the Blood Mage Stalnos, could put you in a spot where you're able to remove something that you wouldn't otherwise be able to.
Do any of those cards, TJ, that you play in Malagos Druid that you don't normally play in Quest Druid help you kill High Priest Armor into Psychopomp?
Yes.
Okay.
Life
Go on.
Blood Mage Stalnos, Double Moonfire Pounce, Hero Power.
Okay, so when I say do any of those cards, what I should have said was do all of those cards together help you kill High Priest Armor.
Yeah. Solid sign. Unfortunately for ETC, it does mean that nothing has died. But you're okay with that.
What if you just heal your own face so that your injured Tolvir is more likely to die this turn?
I'll tell you what, I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Wise for Muzzy. This completes the quest, and with a second Nourish in hand, he kind of just needs the mana crystals right now for maybe a potential double. No, he can't double Starfall next turn. It's like, oh, iterate off the top. That opens up double Starfall. Well, it does, but he only has one in hand.
4/7 Blade Master. The nuts.
The same?
Yep. So what was the plan with this Nourish ramp? Was it
Geppetto
Spike
and-
Geppetto?
So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 damage on board. If you survive for a turn and you pick up Malagos from Geppetto, you do have a wide variety of board clears next turn with Swipe plus Starfall.
You are not simply dead to Inner Fire, is that correct?
Yeah, but you can just go Starfall Swipe. Starfall on the Amet, and then you swipe the Tolvir or Injured Blade Master.
Yep.
And it just leaves 2 minions in play, the Wild Pyromancer and
Yeah, seems better.
whatever you choose not to swipe. That's interesting. You kill the higher attack minion or the higher health minion?
The minion with Taunt for Oasis Surgeon purposes as well, if that's your top deck.
Yeah, fair enough.
The end begins. I see.
Woohoo! It was a 1 and 3. And actually, like, Injured Blade Master would have been perfectly fine there.
Yes.
In fact, with the way his hand... no, he has another Cycle Pump in hand. I was thinking with the way his hand is, maybe Injured Blade Master's better because he gets just more immediate power. And it looks like he's closing in on lethal, but... This is for Oasis Surger purposes. You heal the Wild Pyromancer, means Oasis Surger doesn't get to kill both.
Ooh, you hate to see that draw.
He would have died, though, if he...
I'll make you a
Oh, no, you're saying just because it's a bad draw, not because he would have gotten Malagos from Geppetto had he done it.
Exactly,
Okay.
yes. It's not necessarily a bad draw for the long game because, like, Mali Moonfire can represent a pretty decent swing on the board if he can even get the game to that position.
Oasis Surger, Blood Mage Thanos, and Moonfire.
Balanced version of Oasis Surger. Ignore the fact it costs 1. Just pretend it still costs 5.
I like how you immediately were like, wait, it's 1 mana! Subtle. 1 mana, summon 2 3/3s with Rush is the most broken card I could ever imagine. Not the balanced version of it, it's the broken version
I
of it.
just freaking hate Oasis Surger, okay?
Oh boy! And I love the fact that ETC picked that up immediately.
I mean, this is just lethal.
A lot of times.
Pack it up. ETC 4 and 8.
Is someone
Well
injured?
done. Put the kids to bed. It's time.
That would draw a lot more cards.
It would kill the 2/3 ones. This draws a lot more cards.
Oh yeah, you're right. No, it draws the same amount of cards.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you are. You're right.
And killing the 2/3 ones might be worth it.
Yeah, no, you are absolutely right. No, you.
And considering he didn't find lethal, that silence on that Blood Mage Thanos looks even more appetizing. He still gets to do a lot of broken stuff.
Go, 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 go. You have 12 right now. You have 12 right now. Any damage. Any damage. There it is. Okay. He had lethal that turn. Well, sure hope this doesn't come back to bite him. Hard to imagine a world where it does. ETC still has the silence.
But he goes up to 21 and can clear off some things.
Yep.
What did ETC burn last turn? Power Word Shield and Nephroset Ritualist. Still a pair of Divine Spirits packed in that deck.
What to do?
Brass the Cleric to shut down the draw. Still double innovate Hidden Oasis if he needs to. Find himself a Nubasath Defender, which I believe he still has, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he hasn't drawn any yet. Double innovate Hidden Oasis, best he's got.
All right, so let's see where these trades go. Takes off 2 minions. So with Topsy, there is 7 + 8, 15. Extra arms is 19. He can heal up the Amet, which is
The max health on it, 9.
9.
So he has 9, 17,
20?
21. Oh, he has 21.
Oh, is it 21?
Yeah, because you inner fire the 3/8 instead of the 4/8. That's 21. Right?
What? So you silence the Hidden
You
Oasis.
like, Armet deals 9. You heal it to 9. It deals 9. You silence the guy. 13 is 9 plus the Blade Master. And then the Psycho Pump does 8. It's 21. I didn't even look at the top deck. Like, the extra arms isn't even needed.
Extra arms isn't even needed.
Quickly.
23.
Good enough. Don't have to do it my way, just find a way that works. ETC does recover from that one ropey turn in every sense of the word. That was a roller coaster of emotions of a series through Game 1, through the Warrior Mirror, through Hecklebots yeeting various things, through Elysiana discovering Zephrys, but also a possibility to just end the game with Octosari.
It was such a crazy series, I've almost forgotten that ETC didn't play the mind control tech on turn 4 in Game 1.
I thought we got away with it. We got away with it for so long.
Nope, but he
Okay.
won the series, so he's made up for it, and I feel so generous right now, I won't even ask him about it.
Wow, okay.
There's way more important things
There really is, yeah.
to talk about. Importantly, on the top of that list is a 2-0 week for ETC after coming in this week 2-8, ends 4-8. So kind of a big story coming into it, but it looks like ETC is joining us now. ETC, can you hear us?
Yeah.
So what a series, huh? All 3 games
my
and
God.
some close games. Zephrys from Elysiana. How do you feel after that one?
I don't know if you can feel my pressure. I just feel the pressure is real.
Yeah.
It's not like what I play on ladder. It's definitely different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Especially for the last game. I think I played very badly, but the matchup is very favored for Priest, so it's just like whatever. Actually, I think I missed Aliso like at least 2 times, and I immediately regret my decision for 2 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you about the Warrior Mirror. Like, with your build of the deck, how much practice do you have with Elysiana and Azalina in the same deck in a Warrior Mirror, and how exactly that functions?
I practiced not too many games. It's probably less than 10 games. I just never expected that matchup. But from my practice, the matchup is favored for the Muzzy's Warrior.
Okay.
Because if I play I have to draw because I have less resources. He has a lot of he has taunt packs and 2 assembly. So he got more resources than me, and I have to draw all of my cards very fast, and then try to play Elysiana, and then after that I'll try to play Elysiana to get his Elysiana. That is my win condition. But if he practices this matchup, he knows he has to play. If he has Elysiana, he has to play it after I play Elysiana. So after he play Elysiana, normally I don't have chance.
Oh yeah, because Muzzy has the 2 Morden Armageddillo.
Yeah,
and
also in that situation, it depends on the quality of Elysiana.
Yeah.
That too, Zephrys is powerful. Yeah,
it is. We saw the instant concede after the first Zephrys was revealed, which we understand. But Sottle had pointed out something that was interesting. Muzzy picked Baron's stable hand from the Elysiana, which can get Octosari, which could have lost him the game. Which is a very interesting choice. Did you know that Octosari was a beast?
Yeah, I know.
Just you, TJ.
Just me.
Yep.
Just me. Well, I knew after you told me.
Yeah.
But this is a 2-0 week for you. You came in 2-8.
Yeah.
Now you're 4-8. So, despite all the pressure, are you feeling at least like a little bit of relief and maybe some confidence moving into the last week of regular season play?
Yeah, I think I'm more confident now because I just feel I told you yesterday. Eddie told me you have to focus on game, but not the result. I think that helped me a lot.
Mm-hmm. And yesterday was your birthday, as we understand?
No. Actually, tomorrow. Yeah.
Tomorrow is your birthday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, first off, happy birthday for tomorrow.
Thank
Secondly,
you.
we noticed that the lights went out at some point in that series. Like, what was going on there?
What series?
In the game you just played, like the lights in your room turned off briefly.
Oh, I just installed a light today. It's probably because of the maybe it's outage or something. I don't know.
Okay.
And I just replug it and it come back. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, good to see it wasn't anything more serious. But Eddie said earlier that his birthday present to you was defeating Strife Crow in the match. So it should be a pretty happy birthday tomorrow. Would you say?
I don't know how to say. I'm friend of Strife Crow. I can feel his feeling, and also I don't want myself to get relegated. So I don't know if you can feel my feeling now.
Yeah.
It's just not like I want them to lose, and also I don't want myself to lose.
Yeah.
It's very hard to choose.
Yeah. Kind of bittersweet feelings. So we understand, but congratulations on the win and the 2-0 week ETC, and have a great birthday tomorrow. And we'll see you back next week for your matches.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Oh, he's feeling it.
Yeah, you can see
Yeah.
disheveled hair, like.
Yeah, and I want to say, we had our fun with that series because it was kind of wacky. It's the last day we're going to cast together, so we want to have some fun, but I don't want to take anything away from the seriousness of the situation. I'm glad that we have that interview to kind of ground us back in reality and focus on what's important, and that these players that are facing relegation, the level of stress that they are playing under is something that they won't have experienced before in Hearthstone. It's one thing to play, 5 years of competitive Hearthstone and think that you know what the feeling is like. There's never been anything like this before in terms of you just potentially don't get to do this again next year if you lose this game. That's a ridiculous level of pressure to pile on a human being.